St. Patrick's Day is the day we all try to avoid the pinching fingers of our friends by donning green attire. It's also the day that many people divulge in a certain frothy beverage. But what do we really know about St. Patrick's Day or the man behind the day? Let's see, St. Patrick was Irish, the holiday has always been associated with the color green, and people have always celebrated the holiday by heading to the pub for a pint with their friends. What would you say if I told you that all these statements are actually false? That's right, to start out, St. Patrick wasn't Irish, he was actually British. He was born around 390 AD to Roman parents who were living in modern-day England. St. Patrick traveled to Ireland twice in his life. The second time was to spread Christianity to the Irish as a priest. However, the first time he went as a slave. That's right, at the age of 16, Patrick was actually kidnapped by Irish raiders who took him away and sold him as a slave in Ireland. He spent about 7 years there herding sheep and learning about the Irish people. He also became a very deeply believing Christian at this time. According to folklore, a voice came to Patrick in a dream and told him to escape. So when he was 22, he found passage on a pirate ship back to Britain, where he was reunited with his family. While back in England, he made his way to a monastery where he spent 12 years and was eventually ordained as a priest. And supposedly the same voice that told Patrick to escape from Ireland told him to go back to Ireland, and he spent the rest of his life trying to convert the Irish to Christianity. St. Patrick died on March 17th in the year 461 AD, which is why we celebrate his day on March 17th. However, after Patrick died, he was largely forgotten in Ireland. It wasn't until centuries later that he was finally honored as the patron saint of Ireland. Now it's time for some St. Patrick fast facts. As we know, the shamrock is largely associated with St. Patrick's Day. This is because of St. Patrick himself. While in Ireland, he used the 3 leaves of the shamrock to explain the Christian Holy Trinity and how 3 things, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, could be separate entities yet one and the same. The original color associated with St. Patrick was not green, but instead the color blue. The color green wasn't associated with St. Patrick's Day until the late 18th century when it was linked to the Irish independence movement. According to Irish legend, St. Patrick gets credit for driving all the snakes out of Ireland. While it's true that there are no snakes in Ireland today, modern scientists say there never were any. Ireland is much too cool for reptiles to thrive there. Scholars suggest that the snakes were metaphorical, and it is symbolically saying that he drove the old evil pagan ways out of Ireland. And lastly, St. Patrick wasn't originally called Patrick. His birth name was actually Maewyn Succat, but he changed his name to Patricius after becoming a priest. Now it's time for some facts about the day itself. As you might expect, St. Patrick's Day is a big deal in Ireland. It's a national holiday in both Ireland and Northern Ireland. And while St. Patrick's Day is largely associated with drinking, would you believe that it used to be a dry holiday in Ireland? That's right, for most of the 20th century, St. Patrick's Day was considered a strictly religious holiday in Ireland, which means that all the pubs in the country were shut down for the day. It wasn't until 1970 that St. Patrick's Day was reclassified as a national holiday, which allowed for the consumption of alcoholic beverages. Speaking of alcoholic beverages, a 2012 estimate pegged the total amount spent on beer for St. Patrick's Day celebrations around the world at $245 million. Even though St. Patrick's Day began in Ireland, the St. Patrick's Day we know today was basically invented in America by Irish Americans. Until the 1970s, St. Patrick's Day was just a minor religious holiday in Ireland. However, one of the world's largest St. Patrick's Day parades is held each year in New York City, and they've been doing it since 1762. Many other celebrations followed in cities like Boston, Philadelphia, and other flourishing Irish immigrant communities. It became a way for Irish Americans to confirm their ethnic identity. The city of Chicago celebrates St. Patrick's Day by dumping green dye into the Chicago River each year. It takes 40 tons of dye to get the river a nice shade of emerald. Even though the shamrock is closely associated with Ireland and St. Patrick's Day, the shamrock is not the symbol of Ireland. Since the medieval period, the harp has represented the nation, and when Ireland became an independent country in 1921, it adopted the harp as the national symbol. Speaking of shamrocks, what is a shamrock? In Irish, the word itself simply means little clover, and while there are many different species of 3-leaved clover, many botanists consider the official shamrock to be Trifolium dubium, an annual plant that germinates in the spring. Other clovers such as Trifolium repens and Medicago lupulina are considered to be bogus shamrocks. Here's a fun fact, your odds of finding a 4-leaf clover are about 1 in 10,000. Another image you're likely to see on St. Patrick's Day is the leprechaun. The leprechaun legend can be traced back to 8th century tales of water spirits called Lupropon, which means small body. According to legend, leprechauns earned all their gold by making and mending shoes. This is why leprechauns are often recognized by the tap-tap-tapping of a tiny cobbler hammer driving nails into shoes. People who are lucky enough to capture a leprechaun can barter his freedom for 3 wishes, but dealing with a leprechaun can be a bit difficult. Leprechauns are considered to be tricksters who cannot be trusted. You won't find any lady leprechauns because leprechauns are always male. They are often described as bearded old men dressed in green and wearing buckled shoes. They weren't always dressed in green, however. Early tales of the creatures reported red clothing. Leprechauns were originally used as morality tale figures. The legend warns against greed and the folly of trying to get rich quick. As you can see, St. Patrick's Day has a rich history that goes back over 1,500 years, and many traditions have absolutely nothing to do with St. Patrick himself. But however you celebrate the green holiday, the folks here at Channel 55 would like to wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day.